Imagine you text an AI on WhatsApp like a friend and ask it to check your email overnight and flag anything urgent. You go to sleep, and while you sleep, it actually does it on its own. That is OpenClaw, and in early 2026 it became the fastest growing open source project people had ever seen. One moment made it famous. The creator posted a bill for a single month, not from running OpenClaw, but from the fleet of AI coding agents his tiny team used to build it. $1.3 million. We will get to what that number really means because it is wildly misunderstood. But the bigger idea is this. OpenClaw is the clearest example yet of the defining technology of this moment, the autonomous AI agent. So let us take one apart and see exactly how it works. So what is it really? OpenClaw is a free, open-source AI agent that runs on your own computer and actually does things. Notice that word does. A chatbot just talks. OpenClaw acts. It runs commands on your machine, drives a web browser, reads and sends your email, manages your calendar, and reads and writes your files. Now the single most important thing to get straight, because almost everyone gets it wrong. OpenClaw is not an AI model. It does not think on its own. It rents its brain. Picture an empty robot body with a socket in its head. You slot in a brain cartridge, a large language model like Claude or GPT or Gemini, and that model does the reasoning. It is model agnostic, so you can swap brains and you can even plug in a model running on your own machine offline. So what does OpenClaw itself provide? 4 things: the loop, the tools, the autonomy, and the memory. The rented model supplies the thinking. OpenClaw supplies everything that turns thinking into doing. Where did it come from? It started as a weekend hack by an Austrian developer named Peter Steinberger. The idea was simple: text an AI and have it actually do things. It exploded. In March 2026, it passed React to become the most starred real software project on GitHub, climbing past giants like Linux. One quick note for older articles, because it changed names twice, from ClaudeBot to Moltbot, and finally to OpenClaw. The rename from ClaudeBot followed a trademark complaint from Anthropic, the maker of Claude, who said the name was too close. Same project. Then in February, Steinberger joined OpenAI and the project moved to an independent nonprofit foundation, staying open source. Think of OpenAI as a supporter, not the owner. And you do not install a new app to use it. It lives inside the messaging apps you already have: WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, Slack, Signal, and dozens more. You text it like a friend, it texts back, but it also did the thing you asked. So how does it actually work? This is the heart of it, and once you see it, you understand every AI agent there is. It is a loop: perceive, reason, act, repeat. Here is one lap. OpenClaw takes your message and assembles a prompt for the rented model. And that prompt is not just your words. It bundles in the system instructions, the conversation history, the list of tools, the installed skills, and its memory. It sends all of that to the model. The model replies with either some text or a request to use a tool. If it is a tool request, OpenClaw runs that tool, feeds the result back into the next prompt, and goes around again until the task is done and it replies to you in the chat. That single loop is the engine underneath OpenClaw, and underneath nearly every agent you will meet. Let us slow down on the step where words become actions. When the model wants to do something, it does not write a sentence about it. It emits a structured request shaped like a little form. Something like call browser, open this web address. That has a real name. It is called function calling or tool use. So picture 3 roles. The model is the planner, it decides what to do. The tools are the hands, they open the browser or send the email. And OpenClaw is the referee in the middle. That referee is not a rubber stamp, because the plan comes from a probabilistic model that can be wrong, and can even be tricked by text it read along the way. So OpenClaw treats the plan as untrusted, and checks every tool call against your rules before it runs. The simplest version is 3 settings: ask, auto, or deny. You might let it read your files automatically, require it to ask before deleting anything, and flatly deny it the shell. So a real action only happens after the plan passes the gate. Now the part that feels like magic, the leap from a tool you summon to a process that runs itself. It is called the heartbeat. OpenClaw runs quietly in the background, like any service on your computer, always alive. And on a timer by default, roughly every 30 minutes in current versions, it wakes itself up. With no message from you, it reads a checklist of things you care about and asks, "Is there anything I should do right now?" If yes, it acts, completely unprompted. That is the real mechanism behind "check my email while I sleep" or "watch this page and tell me the moment it changes." Nobody is at the keyboard. The agent stirs on its own and messages you first. That is the difference between an assistant you summon and a process that simply runs. But if it wakes every 30 minutes and calls an expensive AI each time, would that not cost a fortune around the clock? It would, which is why a good setup is layered, cheapest first. Each heartbeat runs cheap checks that cost nothing. Did a file change? Did an email arrive? Then simple rules. And only when something truly needs judgment does it spend money on the rented model. One tuning guide suggests running the model on just about 5% of heartbeats, so most ticks are free. But here is why an agent still gets expensive in a way a chatbot never does. Remember the loop. On every single step, OpenClaw reassembles that whole big prompt, the instructions, the history, the tools, the skills, the memory. And the model charges by the token, every word in and every word out. So one task is not one bill. It is one bill per step, and a task takes many steps. Now run that loop on a heartbeat all day. Now run 100 copies at once because one person can run a whole swarm in parallel. The costs do not add up. They compound. A chatbot bills you when you type. An autonomous agent bills every time it thinks, even while you sleep, times every agent you run. Which brings us back to that $1.3 million, because this number gets quoted completely wrong. The creator posted his usage dashboard, but this was not the cost of running OpenClaw. It was the team's OpenAI bill for the coding agents that build and maintain OpenClaw itself. $1.3 million in 30 days, 600 billion tokens, from around 100 coding agents run by a team of about 3 people. Those agents reviewed pull requests, scanned for security holes, deduplicated issues, and wrote fixes all day, every day. And here is the part everyone leaves out. Most of that came from one fast mode, a priority setting that costs about double. By press estimates, with it turned off, the bill would have been roughly 300,000 instead, though treat that as a rough extrapolation, not an official figure. So do not walk away thinking it costs $1.3 million to run OpenClaw. That was a one-time, 30-day snapshot of 100 coding agents building a project in the most expensive setting. A hobbyist running OpenClaw on a local model pays close to nothing. The number is not the lesson. The mechanism is. 2 more pieces make it genuinely powerful. First, skills. OpenClaw extends itself with portable add-ons, each one a simple text file with plain language instructions. You install them from an open registry or community repos, and remarkably, the agent can even write new skills for itself mid-task. Second, memory. Everything it remembers, your conversations, its notes, its skills, is stored as plain text files on your own disk, in folders you can open, edit, backup, or delete. This is the local first, own your data idea, and it is real here. Your agent's memory is not a black box in someone's cloud. It is an open folder of files you control. So how does OpenClaw stack up? Against a plain chatbot, the difference is the whole point. A chatbot is one turn, text out, it says something. An agent runs many turns and changes something in the world, it does something. Against other agent tools, the honest truth is that OpenClaw does not have a smarter brain. It rents the same models everyone else does. Its edge is accessibility. It lives in the chat apps you already use. No coding terminal needed, it has heartbeat autonomy built in. It works with any model, including local ones, and it keeps your memory as plain files. and against a hosted assistant from a big AI company which runs in their cloud on their model. OpenClaw is the opposite. It runs on your machine, it is open source, and it is yours. But that freedom comes with a catch. You also own all the risk. Here is the part a one-stop explainer cannot skip, and it is not fear-mongering, it is the flip side of the power. You have handed software access to your messages, your shell, your inbox, and sometimes your money, and told it to act on its own. So a wrong plan or a hijacked one becomes a real action with real consequences. The signature danger has a name: prompt injection. Because the agent reads web pages, emails, and skills, an attacker can hide instructions inside that text. The agent reads them, trusts them, and obeys them, turning its own tools against you. Researchers found a large share of the skills in the Open Registry carried exactly this kind of hidden instruction. And it got worse. Auditors found hundreds of outright malicious skills, planted to steal passwords and install backdoors, and many that leaked private keys in plain text. The project responded by adding automatic malware scanning. The exact counts shift over time, but the pattern is clear. An open marketplace of add-ons became a supply chain you cannot blindly trust. There is one more layer. Because it grew so fast, early versions shipped with serious security holes, since patched, including one where a single malicious link could let an attacker run code on your machine. The gateway also shipped with no password by default, and researchers scanning the internet found tens of thousands of these agents sitting wide open. So how do you think about this honestly? Not as OpenClaw is unsafe, never touch it. An autonomous agent is powerful software you must sandbox and supervise like any powerful tool, and the guardrails are real and built in. The Ask Auto Deny policies, keeping it bound to your machine, scanning skills, scoped keys instead of the master ones. This is the new security model of the agent era. Power with brakes you set yourself. Let us clear up 5 big misunderstandings. First, OpenClaw is not an AI model or a new ChatGPT. It is an orchestrator that rents a model. Second, it does not think for itself and it is not conscious. The autonomy is just a timer firing that same loop over and over. There is no will in there. Third, and say it with me, it does not cost $1.3 million to run. That bill came from around 100 coding agents building the OpenClaw project itself in the most expensive mode for 1 month. On a local model, it runs for nearly free. Fourth, it is not a trivial wrapper. The intelligence is rented, yes, but the loop, the tools, the heartbeat, and the policies are the actual product and the hard part. And fifth, the dangerous myth. Open source and on my own machine does not mean safe. It is the opposite. You now own an agent with real hands, exposed to everything we just covered. One honest note: the headline numbers move. The star counts and the dollar figures keep changing. What does not change is how the machine works. So step back. Strip away the lobster branding and the record-breaking star count, and OpenClaw is really 4 dials. The loop, which makes it an agent instead of a chatbot. The tools, which are function calls that turn words into actions. The heartbeat, which gives it autonomy, and the meter, which prices every thought it has. Understand those 4 and you can read and price any agent, a coding assistant, a customer service bot, an enterprise worker. The same machine sits under all of them. And here is the bigger shift OpenClaw marks. For the first time, self-hosted software that takes real actions landed in millions of ordinary hands, living in their chat apps, running while they sleep. That moves the hard question away from how smart the brain is and toward who is responsible when it acts. When your agent sends the wrong email, spends real money, or gets prompt injected, that failure is yours to own. The agent era is not smarter chat. It is software with hands. So the real frontier is not how clever the rented brain gets. It is how safely we hand it the keys.